What's up, family? How you doing out there? Welcome to this edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets, sponsored by Byron Riley CPA. Got to thank the sponsor. Get that going right here, byronrileycpa.com. Give them a call at 832-303-3995. One more time, the number is 832-303-3995. All right, Rockets have lost 2 in a row at home. Defense is taking a step back. Kind of the last few games, honestly, except for that game against the Pels down the stretch. Solo, how are you? Dillon Brooks, right oblique strain. Jabari Smith Jr., left ankle sprain. Both are out tomorrow. Joel Embiid won't play, has an ankle issue. So will the Rockets find a way to snap their 2-game home losing streak, or will Philly make it 3 in a row? Stephen, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. H-Town's finest, how are you? If you saw the game on NBA TV, you saw the good and bad of the Pistons. First half, up by 19 at halftime over Boston. Second half, third quarter was a nightmare. The backup point guard play is just awful. It's just garbage. Monty Williams should be ashamed of himself having Killian Hayes be point guard in the NBA. He's just not a point guard. Oh, my God, it's horrible. But parts of what the Pistons did showed some signs of promise. Rockets play the Pistons on Monday, New Year's night, here in H-Town. Heck, the Pistons play like they did in the first half, they could beat the Rockets. Rockets defend like they have lately, they could lose to the Pistons, Rockets are 0-9. 0-9 this season when opponents score 120 or more. I'm not sure Detroit has that firepower to do that, but, defense is poor. But a reminder, that game against Detroit is part of the bobblehead dual theme night for the Twins. Ahmed and Austin Thompson. Rockets will give away, I believe it's 5,000 bobbleheads to the first 5,000 fans. We'll receive a bobblehead on Monday, January 1st, in that Rockets-Pistons game. But your thoughts? Steven says he's excited to see Cam Whitmore jack up more shots and not pass the ball, but score. He can score. He doesn't do much else. He sure didn't pass the ball. There's a drive. Was it last night? He had a drive. It's like a 2-on-1. Ahmed Thompson open on the left side. Cam's like, nope. I'm going to the basket. Got fouled, but pass the ball, man. Pass the ball. I hope y'all are seeing this. Cam can score. We know that. Pass the ball sometimes, man. All right, pass the ball. But let's get into it. Hasn't been a timetable set on regarding Dillon Brooks' oblique strain. Not sure how long he'll be out. But the defense, KD was on one last night, but so is Eric Gordon. First half, the Rockets wanted KD to be a facilitator. KD's like, fine, I'll get 10 assists in the first half. Eric Gordon lit up the Rockets in the second quarter. EG scored 17 points in the second quarter. Most of them are open threes, courtesy of KD. I'm like, some of the Rockets, y'all should know Eric Gordon's game. Why aren't y'all guarding this man? But, yes, Cam's defense needs a lot of work. Which that's why I'm kind of surprised that Coach Ime is saying Cam's defense has been solid. No, it hasn't, Coach. No, it hasn't. He's late on rotations. No, it hasn't. Brandon F. That's a good name. Welcome, Brandon F. Rockets need to have more people handling the balls than just Van Vliet. Yes. This team can only defend so much before you have to actually score the ball. Aaron Holiday seems much more comfortable shooting, scoring, rather than running the offense. Will Ahmed Thompson be the point guard, that backup point guard, to run the offense effectively while Fred is on the bench getting the rest? Because Fred cannot play the whole game. Jalen Green, family, Jalen Green. 6 for 12 from 3 Wednesday night. Scored 23 points. After the game, Jalen said he has not lost his confidence. Coach still believes in him. He knows that. Teammates say, keep shooting. He's doing that. Y'all still want to trade Jalen Green? Have you given up on him? Or did Wednesday provide a glimpse of what he could be? Yes, he was just 2 for 8 on twos, but he was 6 for 12 from 3. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Steven sees it too. Holiday was shooting every shot in the fourth. Dude with Kobe Bryant mode. Felt like he didn't want his Yeah, I mean, Aaron, pass the ball. I'm like, say the same thing about Aaron said about Cam. Pass the ball, man. Come on. H-Town's finest. You are in, based on comments from other Let's Talk Houston Rockets family members, I'd say 60% of the fans or the viewers want to trade Jalen. I don't want that yet. Let him play out this season. You know, as some have stated in the camp that do not want to trade Jalen, this is his first year of real NBA coaching. The counter to that would be, well, why are teammates like Al P adjusting quicker than Jalen? So, but barring some blockbuster deal in return for Jalen, no, I would not trade Jalen right now. No. Justin, welcome, welcome, welcome. Justin said Holiday is trying to stay in the NBA. I think he has a spot in the NBA. And if Amen Thompson were healthy and did not get injured, the ankle, summer, and limiting time in preseason, Aaron was not going to play. The plan, all of us talked about it. Aaron would have been a backup. He might have played a lot of minutes. He was not expected to play a lot of minutes, but he's taken advantage of the opportunity. I'm just saying the Rockets need him to be more of a facilitator sometimes than always shooting the ball. Brandon F says the Rockets need more scoring from the bench to support the start as well. What was it, second quarter? When the bench came in, all 5 reserves are in the game, played well. So the bench does its part, but some of those guys are now going to start. And we're not sure if Tari Eason's going to play Friday night against Philly because of his leg issue. So it's possible the Rockets could be without Dillon, Jabari, and Tari Friday night against the Sixers. Then what? Who's going to play? Clearly Cam's going to play. Amen's going to play. Might have to dust him off, break that glass, and give him more minutes than y'all want. Reggie Bullock. Get some more run. Thoughts on that? Well, yeah, Steven, we're talking about it. Jay Sean start. Who else? The initial game notes from Rockets Media had Tari in the starting lineup. I think that was made earlier today. Then this evening, the injury report listed Tari as questionable. So, based on this evening's injury report, Tari may not play. So if he doesn't play, who gets that other spot in the front court starting 5? So Cam's going to play. Yes. J-Mon with this question. How far back does it set the franchise if they devoted 2 years to the development of the KPJ backcourt, and now KPJ is gone, and we may have to trade JG to make the plan? J-Mon, you tossed it out earlier today on my show, my noon show of the Roundball Review Takeover. Basically saying Rafael Stone should make a trade so the Rockets will increase their chances, not quite guarantee, but increase their chances of making the play-in this season. What do you think about that, Solo, Justin, Brandon? And that'll be February. So if the Rockets are their 8th seed right now, a half game out of 10/11, if they're 8th seed, and I think these next 2 weeks without Dillon Brooks, I'm not sure how long Dillon will be out, but after this remaining 5 games at home, they're going to head on the road. Less time to practice. Road is road. It's difficult. But if the Rockets hover around the 8th seed in January, as the deadline approaches, do y'all want Rafael to pull the trigger on a deal? And I'm not saying Jalen Green. Could be Jayshawn Tate, whatever, whoever. But make a trade to improve the Rockets' chances of getting to the play-in. Now, clearly, if they go on a stumble and they're like 10, 11, or 12 in February before the deadline, then what should they do? But Stephen, me and a colleague were talking about this after the game last night. With no Embiid versus the Rockets Friday, Nick Nurse might have a small ball lineup, might play all kinds of junk defenses, will be less conventional for the Rockets to prepare. So it might not be as much of an advantage without the big fella in the low post game. Might be a lot of spread offense, 5-out offense tomorrow. And then defensively, who knows what Nick Nurse might do to defend the Rockets. So chess pieces there. Solo, going back to his statement, thinks Bullock might start because of his shooting. Yep, Justin, we were talking about that, talking about the Pistons Celtics. Like I said, you saw the good and bad of Detroit. Turnovers down the stretch. Killian Hayes as a point guard in the NBA, he's just not. But it shows you apparently how far Marcus Sasser, what Monty Williams thinks of Marcus Sasser as a point guard, if he's still giving minutes to Killian Hayes as a point guard. Killian Hayes was awful. His decision making was awful. It was disgraceful. All right, Thrillo coming in. Brandon F. going back to him real quick. They need wing production. I think that should be the focus. Next needs to be backup center that can actually rebound and change shots. We've had that as a recurring theme. Rim protector, shot blocker. Brandon, you got anybody in mind who you'd like to see the Rockets get as a backup big? Steven says he believes Sengun is going to feast with no Embiid. But will he? Based on whatever Nick Nurse draws up defensively, it might be running 2-3 guys at Sengun in combination of zone kind of looks. And daring the Rockets to beat him from the outside. Big Thrillo, could JG, a couple players and draft picks get Donovan Mitchell? I don't know if the Cavs want to do that yet. But how about DeJounte Murray? He's reportedly on the trading block. Atlanta probably wants some picks in return for him. H-Town's finest, coming from the top rope, thinks the Rockets' biggest problem is their offensive sets. Says the Rockets are playing 90s ball. That ain't going to cut it in 2023. Coach said he'd like to see the Rockets take more threes, 30, 35, maybe 40 threes a game. They're passing up too many threes. Well, that many attempts, that's modern NBA's 35, 43 pointers a game. Justin, that's been discussed. You're not alone in that assessment. Tom Gores tossed money, the Brinks truck. Monty didn't want the job. Monty initially said he wanted to take a year off, take one season off, and then possibly get back into coaching next season. Tom Gores went back at him with $12 million per, and Monty agreed to take the job. So there have been some questions, folks wondering if ownership made a mistake in that case. How much for Bowl? Not much, I'd say. Tanner Gifford, solo, consistent with that. Wants that big man. Probably could be Gafford. Yeah, Daniel Gafford. He probably could be available in a trade. J-Mon wants to see the Rockets become players in the Alex Caruso bidding war. And a lot of folks want him. Yep. Derek Grant, welcome. 2 games Rockets lost were bad. The defense was bad. Pacers and Suns. Mr. Halliburton, sensational. Derek says the Rockets need to build our offense and increase on our defense. Clint Capella would be nice, and some other players. The Lakers have been mentioned in discussions for DeJounte Murray. And I've said it before, typically, not all the time, but typically, when you hear trade rumors, scuttlebutt, those deals don't happen. It's the deals that you don't hear about that get done. Brandon says it's just too much it is too much VanVleet. Agreed. It is. The Rockets need another facilitator, another person to run the offense and lighten the load. Jalen Green had the ball in his hands a lot in the first quarter. Wednesday night. First quarter, Fred was playing off the ball more. Jalen, I think, was 2 for 5 in the first quarter. Assists, I'm not sure if he even had any. But he looked more for a shot. Then he got it going, making shots in the second quarter. But what is the bigger problem for the Rockets right now, especially right now without Dillon Brooks and Jabari Smith? Is the problem, is offense more of a problem, or is the defense more of a problem? What do y'all think? Justin says, I still want to keep Jalen Green, but a backcourt of Trae Young and Jalen could be bananas. For the Hawks? Trade Jalen for, include Jalen in the deal for DeJounte Murray, maybe? J-Mon, with Jalen Green, the lead ball handler, our offense becomes street ball. I think Brandon's kind of his one-word answer, efficiency. H-Town's finest says the offense is. Grillo says lack of offense leads to poor defense. Rockets rebounding has suffered the last few games as well. And when the Rockets get out-rebounded, they have a losing record this season. So that's a concern. Rockets are, 15 and 14? You're seeing some little cracks in the club. The defense taking a step back a little bit. With Dillon Brooks, the Rockets were 0-8, allowing 120 or more. So they've had issues even with Dillon Brooks. When they hold opponents under 100, record is great. But how often do you do that in today's NBA? Justin's statement, trying to figure out what was the difference in Green's decline. Is it because of him having actual structure now? I think more folks would agree with that. This is interesting. Dillon Brooks is probably our best shooter on offense. Wow, what does that say? what does that say? Hmm. Because last couple of seasons, no one in Memphis would have said that. H-Town's finest, there is an old saying that says a great defense is having a great offense. What would it take to improve the Rockets' offense? Going through LP more? LP scored 24 last night. Do y'all want the offense to go through him much more? High post, mid post, on the block, low block. Dillon shooting like 45% from three. Brandon says, I noticed we put Tari in when things got out of hand and not sooner. Jamon says we need an upgrade at shooting guard. You don't think point guard needs an upgrade? Backup point guard for sure? Or would that be Ahmed Thompson? Ultimately. Reminder, everybody, got to plug my sponsor, Mr. Byron Riley, CPA. Go to his website, byronrileycpa.com, or just give him a call, 832-303-3995. He's advertising, sponsoring these Let's Talk Houston Rocket shows for December and January. So got other months, rest of the months of the year to advertise, support this show, be a sponsor of this show. And you want to do that, email me at right there, kgardner@thehrr.com for prices and info about that. And keep in mind, this show streams on all the platforms and ultimately could be on more platforms. Right now, it's on Twitter, YouTube, and the Roundball Review Facebook page. In the future, it would be on Instagram as well, LinkedIn, etc. You get the idea. Devrick says both of the guard positions need an upgrade. Justin with an interesting take. It's getting to a point to where Al P is like CJ Stroud to the Texans. Without him, this team can't score. Thrillo says the Rockets are still trying to figure it out. It shows versus veteran teams, even if those teams are struggling. Yeah, because Phoenix was struggling coming into last night's game. On both ends of the floor, offense and defense. Jamon says, I think trying to make Amen Thompson a point guard is going to be like the KPJ experiment all over again. Just have him play wing to, okay, well, lean to his athleticism. Brandon F. going through LP is fine with the offense, but teams counter that by fronting him. And the only shooter is Van Vliet and sometimes Jabari. Okay, how about putting LP at the free throw line for mid-post post-ups? That would negate the fronting part of it defensively. Ulam says Rockets are fine at forward. Jabari and Tari will be okay. Don't forget about Dillon. And Cam. Tony says just time for E-Maid to coach up Cam. He'll get minutes tomorrow. And he probably will get more minutes, not more minutes, but minutes as well on Monday against Detroit. As long as Dillon Brooks and Jabari are out, and we have not heard a timetable for either one, but Cam minutes will go up with those two out for sure. Okay, so we've had suggestions the Rockets need to improve both guard spots, the shooting guard spot, the backup center spot. Yeah, you think the Rockets were not 15-14. Justin, with this, put LP at the mid post to give him options to pass to a cutting guy. Rockets have cutters. Should have more of them, which is they still had KJ. He was a master at cutting to the basket. Rockets comment from Turkey. Our team is Nuggets now. Rockets have Jokic and Fred and Jamal Murray in LP and Fred. It's hard for JG to go into this system. He is not MPJ or Aaron Gordon. So it is ISO, which is bad. Correct. KJ Martin is coming back in town with the Sixers. His minutes are kind of sporadic, but he probably will get some run tomorrow, I would assume. Brandon, well, I would like to see Cam get more minutes. I think he will. He is a scorer. He is that. I'd like to see him pass the ball sometimes, but yes, he is a scorer. Asleep Art 11 _ asked me if I'm surprised the bench played so many minutes at the end. It would have been a good opportunity to see what works. Derek says another revenge game, but KJ not going to get enough touches, I don't think. Unless it be a lot of cuts to the hoop and offensive rebounds and putbacks. What would I like to see LP improve defensively? First, consistent effort. Second, meeting his opposing big sooner when they cross half court and not letting them get deep position in the paint. And be on the same page with his wings regarding the high screens. Because if teams, and I think more and more teams will do this based on their personnel, if the bigs begin to slip those screens, LP's got to be there in position to bump them, to be with them, to lessen the effectiveness of those slips to the hoop. When he's not, y'all seen it, it's just alley-oops or dunks, or easy strolls to the rim. Thrillo, a better question might be, I wonder if KJ's dad regrets wanting out now, because he has not been getting a lot of playing time since he left. That is correct. Justin says the problem with Cam is that he is a scorer, but he does not read defenses very well. Correct. Agreed. He's just out there using his strength as well as his athleticism, not enough of the basketball IQ. Well put. Brandon says he'd love to see KJ Martin coached by Ime, Coach Udoka. You guys are doing a great job with the comments. You're coming in strong. So, y'all know what I do. Salute. Oh, and also, most likely, I'm not sure how many people will participate, but most likely the next Let's Talk Houston Rockets will be, I'm thinking Sunday, New Year's Eve, or late Saturday. It's going to be a busy day for me Saturday. It's going to be a lot of college hoops on Saturday, all day for me. So that's probably why I'm not going to do a Rocket show Saturday night, but possible. But most likely the next one will be Sunday. So hit the like button, spread the word. Like I said, the show's back on, I think I did it right, put it back on Musk tonight. But in due time, spread the word, hit the like button, and let everyone know that the Houston Roundball Review talks hoops in a different way than the Rocket fan platforms, because I'm not a fan of the Rockets. I cover the Rockets. I'm media. Brandon F. Brandon, where did this question come from, man? I'll answer it. How should I? I got to be diplomatic. He's been mentioned for the job. I've been told his interview for the job was not the greatest, but his name still carries weight in H-Town, and that might still sway some of the TSU board of regents to keep considering him. I mean, they announced this evening that they were going to take more time to consider more candidates for the job, which is a shame. Sleep Art says LP had such a great game with KJ. He's still hoping for someone else to fill the role. Pick and roll was getting good towards the end. LP and Fred's pick and roll game is solid. I was thinking about this. Steven typed it up. Cam would be more productive as a starting shooting guard than Jalen. Mike Will, where you at, man? Mike, this is what you've been saying. Well, you said a little bit differently. You said bring Jalen off the bench and start Aaron Holiday in his place. But I think Cam starting would make Mike Will happy as well. Ulam says Cam can develop into the KJ role. Agreed. I mean, he got the hops, strength, athletically, and he's probably a better long range shooter than KJ. So we'll see how it all plays out, how Cam does with more minutes, how Cam does when teams put him higher up on the scouting report and begin to game plan for him. Because as H-Town's finest says, he definitely has tunnel vision. No question. He has tunnel vision. Oh, no. I don't take personal shots. None of that stuff. None of that. I don't do that at all. No. Got to be objective. Got to maintain objectivity. But we'll see. Brandon F. Killer Cam. If you are arriving late to this edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets, presented by Byron Riley, CPA.com. Dillon Brooks, Rockets have already announced. Dillon Brooks and Jabari Smith are both out for Friday's game against Philly. Dillon with the right oblique strain and Jabari with the left ankle sprain. But Philly will be without Nicholas Batum and, more important, big fella, Joel Embiid. Joel is still living with an ankle injury. He's missed, 4 or 5 games in a row now, something like that? Or at least this week, and maybe 4 games because of ankle this season, something like that. Tony him referring, I guess, to Cam having tunnel vision and not passing. Why pass to them? They're going to miss shots. Well, I ain't nothing to worry about, Derek. They've lost 28 in a row. Win number 3 is coming. I don't know when it's going to come. Yeah, they played well in stretches tonight, but they also made me pull out my whatever little bit of hair I have left with just some awful decisions and some garbage defense. But it's getting better as long as if you have the team, NBA team, college team, where you can go 10 deep and play all 5 reserves on the floor together, do so. If you don't do that. Gosh. Monty Williams ruined momentum, put in all 5 reserves, and it was a disaster. It was a disaster. And he said he would stop doing it, and he still did it. And I digress. Rockets Sixers Friday. Rockets Pistons. Reminder: the Rockets game against Detroit on January 1st at night, New Year's night. Bobblehead giveaway. The Rockets will distribute 5,000 bobbleheads for their home game against Detroit on the 1st. So first 5,000 fans will receive bobblehead. I'm kind of wondering if the bobbleheads will be on the same base, or like they pick their shows kind of separate for packaging. Who knows? Hopefully the media will get one as well. I'd like to have that. So, but it's, yes, Rockets and Detroit have a dual theme. They're going to collaborate for dual twin night themes for the game here in town on January 1st, as well as the game in Detroit on January 12th. Okay. Yep, Steven Silas is there too. A bunch of nice guys, still playing guys who don't deserve minutes. And there will not be a Steven Silas tribute video, although some of my media colleagues would not mind putting one together themselves. But that won't happen. Yep, Steven. The losing sucks. Everybody knows it. Players don't like losing. Nobody likes to lose. They're going through a rough ass patch that's lasted a lot longer than anybody thought. But signs the worm is turning, the tide is turning, are creeping in slowly. Heck, the fact that they forced overtime night against Boston was another positive. Just can't get over that hump yet. Win number 3 is coming. Just not sure when it's going to arrive. But as y'all know, Tony M knows it. If it comes on Monday, I might have to do a late night edition of this show and put on my Detroit cap and talk some smack. I don't believe it's going to happen on Monday, but if it does, and a reminder, of course, click that shop button, get you a Roundball Review mug, or a Let's Talk Houston Rockets mug, or a hoodie. Zip up hoodies. Got a few more days for the zip ups. A lot of different ways. In addition to word of mouth, supporting Houston Roundball Review. You can advertise. You can buy some merch. You can tell your friends, tell your enemies about that bald-headed guy who talks about the Rockets with the fans. Spread the word about this show. And this is so true. And they don't have enough veterans to be those guys in the locker room. And that's a big problem. And this, Justin, I don't disagree with you. I think this is true. Young guys don't respect nice coaches, nice guy coaches. And Monty and Silas do better at coaching vets. Agree. I'm not sure. Heck, in real talk, I don't know who had the streak before Detroit got close. The only time the streak is like when this streak does end, the only time Detroit will be remembered for it, a couple scenarios, will be if another team approaches it at some point, or if 5 years from now Detroit begins winning again, competing for championships. But remember when some of these same guys are part of the longest losing streak in sports history, and look at them now. It's the only time it's going to be brought up. Those two scenarios. Oh yeah, no question. Well, you don't have to worry about it from Piston fans. It'll be me. I'll be every show. I'm kidding. Just one show, I will just talk a lot of smack. But and yes, some of my friends have said the same thing. Yes, that the Pistons were sacrificed for the Lions' success. Detroit won the division for only like the third time in 30 years, something like that for Detroit Lions football. But tomorrow, make your prediction. Rockets without Dillon Brooks, without Jabari Smith, against Philly without Joel Embiid. Who you got? Who's going to win? Will the Rockets snap their 2-game home losing streak? Or will it be 3 straight losses at home after Friday night? Tony M, all I know is Detroit will not go 2-80. I'm certain of that. That's all. I really can't give you anything else for that. Jamon says, predicting a Sixers win. Why do you say that, Jamon? And without Joel Embiid, why do you say that? Justin as well. Why do y'all say that? Y'all? What is it about the Rockets? Is it the injuries to Dillon and Jabari? What else are areas of concern for y'all to pick Philly to win Friday? Good question here. Without Embiid, the Rockets should win, but who's guarding Maxey? That's a good question. Gee, Fred or Jalen, that's bad. That's bad if it is. Brandon, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate that. And let me ask, let's go to this, because last few minutes of the show. Is that new one? Because he wasn't in the last injury report I saw a few hours ago about Tobias. But if that's the case, hey. But why do y'all believe the Rockets defense has taken a step back lately? Is it because of style of play from certain opponents who have the personnel to slip those screens? Is it more athleticism at certain spots? Is it lack of practice time? Is it the Rockets are getting tired? Hit the early season wall that they'll need to refresh like a week. But what do y'all think are reasons for the Rockets' slippage defensively? And yep, the gutty win Saturday over the Pelicans. Defense stepped up down the stretch. But outside of that, the Rockets' defenses, I'm seeing some leaks in it. A Sleep Art says mismatches. Brandon F says teams are figuring it out. And let's add to that, Brandon. What are teams figuring out? What are teams exploiting? What weaknesses are teams seeing? So what is it? Pin it down. Let's see. Steven says lack of practice time and dealing with Jalen's slump. Y'all know how I'm about that. Don't let your offensive struggles hurt your defense. That, I know it happens. I know that. It shouldn't happen. You can impact winning other ways if your shot's not falling. I thought about this a couple times myself. Why is Dillon Brooks guarding point guard with Fred is a good defender? Asleep Art does not like seeing Fred on small forwards. Some of those cross matches, I don't understand either, especially early in games. Now, late in games, I kind of understand it, but like the first quarter, I don't know about all that. Gary Bankston, Gary, what's up, man? Thank you. Slipping screens is what teams are doing against us. Yes. But has that been the case prior to last week when the Hawks did it? What was it, 4 dunks in the fourth quarter to start the fourth quarter, something like that? That was embarrassing. Man, that was pick and roll defense. You think it's been better or you think it has not been better? Dillon has guarded every position. And he is the Rockets' defensive stopper. I guess sometimes the staff wants to set a tone early. in that first quarter. Okay, agreed. Pick and roll has been better. Defensive has been better before. Agreed. Okay. But sometimes I don't work into it. Let's see if teams cause problems for Fred or Jalen or whoever before putting Dillon on the number one option from the jump. But I'm not the coach. I just cover the team and try to have an informed opinion. H-Town's finest with the new age NBA answer. You can play the greatest defense possible short of fouling. These guys in the league are going to make buckets, so you have to make buckets. So when Rockets 0-9 against when teams score 120 or more is because they're not scoring enough points. That's your point of contention. I disagree, but understood. Hey, that's your point. Alpy, he responded well to his benching in that fourth quarter. That fourth quarter benching. Asleep Art says he understands Dillon guarding 2, 3, and 4, but under 6 feet, Fred should always be on the point guard, whoever it is. It always puts us at a disadvantage. Adds to it, let Dillon play off ball. He's just as deadly getting into the lanes. Well, those adjustments on defense, we won't see, at least for sure, not Friday against Philly, because Dillon Brooks has already been listed as out with his strained right oblique. Jabari Smith as well listed out because of his sprained left ankle. What do I think about this comment from Deverick? I believe we have a better Draymond Green on our team in Dillon Brooks. Thoughts on that? What do you think? What do you think about that? Okay. I had the predictions. I asked about them. I had 2 folks say Philly wins. Who was it? H-Town Finest said Rockets by 6. Mudbone, welcome. Long time no hear from. No Tobias as well. So Houston should win. So that's 2-2 in picks. Whoa. Steven says he believes Draymond Green is not a Hall of Fame player. I would agree. I would agree because it also takes into account college part of basketball as well, his overall basketball career. So yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. Asleep Art says Dillon has proven everyone wrong, and we're all backing him. Wears his heart on his sleeves, and teaches others to do the same. He's bringing that aggressiveness, that chip, that us against the NBA, us against the world mindset. New name here, Epic Shots Photography. Welcome. Green, Jalen Green, because you got Uncle Jeff too, Jeff Green. Green plays best when he plays ISO basketball. He needs to learn how to play team basketball quickly before he is booted out. Brandon F. would love to see Jabari play the 3. If we had a center that rebounds and blocks shots, then where are you going to put LP at the 4? Or would those be times when LP's on the bench? Ulam says Rockets by 12 over Philly on Friday. All right, we'll see. Got you, Brandon. Okay. Understood. Justin, with this, it was crazy that there was a time where folks were trying to put Draymond in an MVP conversation at one point. LP at the 4. Got you. A lot of folks saying this. JG, again, Jalen Green, because got another JG, is not a good decision maker. And it's final moments. Back to one of my initial conversations, points of discussion. If the Rockets are in the 8th spot, within reach of the 6th seed, so 8th spot they're in playing, because they're playing the 7 to 10. In the 8th spot, closer to 6 than they are to 10. We'll say 11. So they're in February. Would y'all like to see Rafael Stone make a deal to get them to enhance their chances of being a 6 seed or better? And if yes, who are you trading from the Rockets, and who would you like to see Rafael get in return to help them enhance their chances of being a 6 seed or better this season? Justin says, if the Rockets are in a spot, that means they have already overachieved from last season. Yes. So based on that, do y'all want the Rockets? And I'm not saying push all the chips to the middle of the table, but a deal, and you tell me what it is, that makes sense to do it. Asleep Art says Caruso is all I want. Won't have to throw the bank at him. Who do you want to give up? And who do you think the Bulls would want in return to deal away Alex Caruso? J-Mod says, yes, Stone needs to do his job and improve the roster. Ideally, we should get someone like Alex Caruso and a big like Clint Capella. Tony M wants Jock Landale gone. Gary Bankston says, I want Malcolm Brogdon and Andre Drummond. What are your thoughts about Andre Drummond? Does he count as the big like Clint Capella? Justin says he thinks the Rockets just making the playoffs is good enough. That was their goal. Doesn't matter if it's the 8th spot this season. What do you think about that? But that's how we'll wrap it up tonight. Thank you, as always, for joining me on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review presents Let's Talk Houston Rockets, presented by Byron Riley CPA. Website byronrileycpa.com, or call him 832-303-3995. The last tally, it seemed like more Rocket fans believe the Rockets will beat the Sixers on Friday to end their 2-game losing streak at home. And then I'll get ready for the Pistons on Monday, New Year's night. And reminder, if you missed it, the game against Detroit, Rockets and Pistons are collaborating to host dual twin night themes for the game on January 1st in H-Town, as well as on January 12th in Detroit. First 5,000 fans at Monday's game. Rockets will distribute 5,000 bobbleheads for that home game against the Pistons on January 1st. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. This, you tell me, my man. Jalen shot well. Well, he shot well from 3 against Phoenix, going 6 for 12. He was just 2 for 8 on 2s. Let's see what he does against Philly on Friday. One game does not make a turnaround. Got to be consistent. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 onward. One game gets to be a blip. But everybody, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Click on that bell so you can receive notifications of the next show, live stream show. Most likely will be Sunday. Might be late on Saturday. But either way, as long as you subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to be notified of the next Let's Talk Houston Rockets. Until then, everybody take care. Enjoy the game Friday, Rockets Philly, and see you soon. Peace. And I gotta do it. I like ending the show like this. Remember this, the Houston Roundball Review, since 1994, local name, global perspective. Peace.
Game over.